Good morning, everyone. Welcome to an episode of Coffee Break with Card, La Hora del Cafecito Sister Show. My name is Lourdes Quiñones, and I would like to welcome you to the show. So come on in and let us know right there in the boxes if you are taking some coffee with us, some tea, some water, some drink that you want to share with us, and let us know that you're here with us so we can say hello to you. Um, in today's show, we're going to be talking about avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, or ARFID. What is it? How do you know if your loved one with autism has ARFID? And how and where to obtain a diagnosis and the types of evidence based treatments options available to manage ARFID. So join us. We have a lot to talk about. But before we get started, I'd like to start by introducing to you your coffee break hostesses for today. As I mentioned before, my name is Lourdes Quiñones. I am a card consultant assigned to the primary age group, and professionally, I am a pediatric physical therapist as well as a special education teacher. I am joined today by Jasmine Castellano. Buenos dias, Jasmine.
Buenos días. Good morning, everybody.
I am also joined by Olivia McDonald. Buenos dias, Olivia.
Buenos dias, Lourdes, and good morning, everyone.
And as you know, Jasmine Castellano is an excellent professional in the field of mental health. She is a card consultant assigned to the youth group for middle school to young adults. And she's the mother of three, one of whom is diagnosed with autism. So, welcome, Jasmine.
Thank you.
And Olivia McDonald is an excellent professional in the field of public health. She is a card consultant assigned to the primary age group, just like me. And Olivia is the mother of two and has a younger brother diagnosed with autism. So, welcome, Olivia.
Thank you, Lourdes.
But before we get started again, we would like to review the rules by which we want to adhere throughout the programming. To ensure that we have a safe environment for all of us. Be sure to keep an open mind and a positive attitude and use respectful language. And as we get started, just before we jump in the conversation, Olivia, if you want to go ahead and greet our audience before jumping in.
Yes, I want to say good morning to our colleague, Chris.
Good morning,
I
Chris.
feel it's Chris, Mark, and another person who's joining us, Philomena, my mom. I feel like it's the three of you are battling for our number one fan position. But good morning to Chris. Good morning, Philomena.
Good morning, Philomena.
And to Betsy, thank you for joining us, also from the Spanish show, and Megan, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. All right. So, for those of you who are just joining us, we will be discussing the avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, or ARFID, and we'll be talking about what is it, how to know if your loved one with autism has ARFID, and how and where to obtain a diagnosis and the types of evidence-based treatments options that are available to manage ARFID. And Jasmine will be bringing us all that information and answering my questions and Olivia's questions for today. So join us. We have a lot to talk about. So since we have a lot of topic to cover, I want to jump in right in. So the first question for you, Jasmine, is what is ARFID and what causes it?
So, first of all, I would like to give credit to Rogers Behavioral Health and equip for this information. And also want to inform the audience that none of us are experts in eating disorders. However, we are providing this information for the community, and we advised the community to look professional advice that are that works with eating disorders, and we will provide information later on as of which professionals can provide you with more information and diagnosis and treatment. So the avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, ARFID, is an eating disorder that is marked by an extreme aversion to food or a drastically reduced consumption, which can result in nutritional deficiencies and serious health issues. Unlike anorexia and other eating disorders, ARFID, it is not motivated by concerns about body image or weight. So we know that, for example, anorexia uh, is connected. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Is connected with the person body image or the person ideal of weight, no, and it's a lot of they lose a lot of weight. For ARFID, that's not the case. Okay, it is important to understand that eating disorders, including ARFID, are not attempts to gain attention. Okay, this is not that the child or the adult wants to get attention. Has nothing to do with that. ARFID should not be mistaken for simply being picky eater, as it is deeply connected to mental health problems with individuals that often are scared, afraid of choking or other adverse outcomes from eating. So this is very important for us as parents to be aware that, number one, has nothing to do with body image. Number two, it goes above and beyond of just being a picky eater. Number three, the person with ARFID, the child or adult, they are not trying to get attention. Oh, he's doing that because I didn't let him go and play with the video game. No, that has nothing to do with that. And number four, it is deeply, deeply connected with mental health problem. So it is a disorder that is not only has to do with mental health, it also has a biological and physical component that we're going to be talking about later on.
Okay. And Yasmin, can you talk a little bit more about those kind of signs and symptoms? Like basically, how can parents know if their loved one with autism has ARFID compared to another type of feeding or eating disorder?
So yes, so like I was saying, ARFID has not only a mental health component, but also the physical part of it. For example, the person may be afraid of choking or vomiting. Of course, lack of interest on food, uh, picky eating that becomes worse. And like there's a difference between being picky, like, oh, this child, he only wants I don't know, nuggets and pizza and cheeseburger, whatever. However, when you are giving them homemade food, they will eat it. Would they prefer, the nuggets? Of course, but I mean, so it goes above and beyond, to the point that the food, the variety of food that the person will eat is very, very limited, and the few that they eat is pretty much always exactly the same. Exactly the same. It has to be the prepared exactly the same way all the time. Uh, so they limit food intake, especially some textures. That's why I'm saying it has a biological component. That's why it has nothing to do with attention, okay? Because, and we talk about this in previous shows, like it has to do with the sensory part of their mouth and aversion to different textures. And they can complain about their stomach being upset, that they feel full around mealtime just to avoid eating. It has also other symptoms. For example, sleep problems. It is hard for them to concentrate. They can be lethargic. Uh, they can also have stomach cramps, GI issues or gastrointestinal complaints, intolerance to cold. For ladies, girls, and women, menstrual irregularities. It can be hard for them to, like I said, to concentrate. They can also feel dizzy. They can faint, because they don't have enough nutrients in their body. Fatigue, like they don't have the energy to do absolutely anything. When they eat, they might eat very, very small amounts of food. They are not gaining weight, especially when they are little. I don't know if you remembered, when they're little, there's this like a bell, and the doctor, the pediatrician will be, it has like a chart. It will tell you, oh, look, here, your child is developing right, or oh, he's a little bit overweight or underweight or whatever. So in that, they will be below, okay? Uh, Food sensory sensitivity, inflexible eating habits, like I explained, like they will insist on a specific preparation of meals. Fear of choking, nausea, like I said, like lack of appetite. They have no interest in food. It is very difficult for them to try new or unfamiliar foods, and they rely a lot on nutritional supplements. And for the little ones, is this nutritional shakes, like Pediasure or Boost or Ensure, or those type of nutritional shakes.
You're muted, Lourdes.
I forgot. We were saying la hora del cafecito, and as we can see by the list of physical manifestations that you just listed, that this goes beyond, and like you mentioned, a desire to call attention. This is obviously something that goes above and beyond calling attention. So therefore, it's very important, as you mentioned, for parents to realize that forcing a child to eat would actually exacerbate the situation. It would create trauma. So it's very important that parents realize that it's time to seek assistance. When you're seeing this type of physical manifestations, it's time to seek assistance. So with that said, my question to you, Jasmine, is what type of specialists should parents be seeking assistance from to obtain a diagnosis and evidence-based treatments for our ARFID?
So this is ideally, it will be amazing if we can have a multidisciplinary team to treat ARFID, and that includes the primary care physician or pediatrician, mental health professionals with an X. So meaning that it's just not only one person in the mental health, that includes a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a licensed therapist. The licensed therapist will work with the behavior through different type of therapies. The psychiatrist can try to see if there's any other co-occurring mental health conditions such as anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder, autism. Also, the dietitian a speech language pathologist, occupational therapist, and gastroenterologist. And I want to say that when my daughter was the baby, definitely she went through what I know is ARFID. Uh, um, and she displayed all those behaviors: the gagging, the nausea, the avoiding eating, just eating yogurt because that was the only thing she could tolerate. And it took years. And the problem was that she was not developing. She was very weak. She couldn't do any of her developmental normal, like walking and so uh, yes, we have a multidisciplinary team, and we have a pediatrician, we have the dietitian, the speech language pathologist, the occupational therapist, the gastroenterologist, everybody working towards the same goal, uh, and working with her for her to be able to overcome, all the diagnoses that she had associated with eating, no? And was successful, yes. Does she eat? Yes. Is she still selective of what she eats? Very much so. Do I still use some of the techniques used in therapy and feeding therapy when I want to introduce new textures and new food? Yes, I do. Does it work? Yes. Takes time? Yes. As I said, it takes years. So this is not a 3 month. I mean, in my case, it took forever, and as of today, it still is a thing. So it, but it requires a whole multidisciplinary team, ideally, like I said, working towards that goal.
Well, thank you for sharing your personal experience. I think that's really helpful to, again, give context. Again, this is not a short-term thing. It's long-term, but that, there's can be a lot of improvement, especially with like that right team. It sounds like. So I also know sometimes families feel like maybe a little hesitant to start treatment or maybe reach out for help because they're not sure, like, oh, am I overthinking this? So could you kind of please clarify, like, when should parents or caregivers start seeking treatment for ARFID?
Well, first of all, in my case, for my child, she was born like that. Like, she was not even developing or gaining weight uh, before birth, So definitely was not attention seeking. So, but however, if you notice that your child, when he was or she was a baby, she was good and doing good and developing right, and out of the sudden, you see that, there's a lack of weight gain, like a lack of growth and weight loss, and you notice some of the symptoms that I talk about. He used to like, I don't know, mashed potatoes, and out of the sudden I give him mashed potatoes and he's gagging, for example. Things like that. Just be in the lookout. Be in the lookout for lack of gain weight, lack of growth, weight loss, distress, especially around meal times. So be in the lookout for all those, how would I say, red flags, especially the ones that we mentioned. And then talk to your pediatrician. I will go there first. And if still you're not sure about, the answer that what the pediatrician gave you, and you want a more in-depth information or orientation, you can also go to a gastroenterologist and talk to them about it. So, yeah, just be in the lookout for red flags.
Yes. And I agree that it's a multidisciplinary intervention, and it does have a component, sensorial component of it. And many times, the important thing to know is that it has that mental health component part of it. Because if we treat it only as it's a sensory thing, we might want to stop at just the speech and language component of it with the oral motor treatment, and maybe the occupational and speech and language component of it. But it goes beyond that, because as you were describing before, it has that mental health component part of it. That's why seeking that diagnosis is so important, because it's overcoming that anxiety or mental health component, whatever that may be. So that's why seeking the right diagnosis, not just part of the diagnosis, because ARFID does have that sensory component part of it. But if you stop at just that component part of it, you might just be missing the rest of it, which is the mental health component part of it. And so the treatment will not be complete. So that's why it's so important, and we wanted to bring this show to you today. So be aware that it exists, and seek a complete diagnosis, right? So with that in mind, my question to you, Jasmine, is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience today?
Yeah, Lourdes, like I mentioned here and there during the show. So ARFID affects people across all age groups and genders. By that being said, I'm talking about adults. So probably many adults that are watching us right now, that you are in your 20s, your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 100s, whomever, you might probably have ARFID. However, it was never diagnosed before. So yeah, it can happen, and it can happen as well as males and females. So it's not only for one gender or just for little ones. No. It's for everyone. Everyone can, you know, have a diagnosis of ARFID.
So if you are suffering from feeding issues, so from some sort of a nutritional issues that you've been struggling with, there might be a reason for that. So it would be good to at least consider this component of it and discuss it with a mental health professional as well, to see if that's something that might be important for you to pursue, right? So some treatment for that. So for those of you who are watching us, if you have any questions or comment, let us know in the comment section below. Even if you are watching this after we get off the air, we would love to answer your questions while we're on the air, but even after we get off the air, perhaps through the comments in another program. And remember, if we take your comments or questions to create another program, we'll be sure to give you credit on the air for coming up with the idea. So it's very important that that we discuss this topic among ourselves and with others, because it is something that it could be, like you mentioned, Jasmine, adults could have been living with this all along, and they just never thought about it. So it's a good thing to talk about that. So Olivia, with that said, do we have any comments or questions to discuss right now?
Not at the moment.
No.
But again, we'll keep an eye on the comments, so you can always leave a comment or question, and we can get back with you after the show.
Perfect. Thanks. We do have some resources to share at the end of the program, so be on the lookout for those. All right. So we're almost at the end of the show, but I didn't want us to leave without, first of all, thanking Jasmine and Rogers Behavioral Health and Equip for bringing us this valuable information for our audience. Thank you for giving us the heads up, the alertness and awareness of the ARFID. And I wanted also to remind our audience that we are coming up on every third Friday of each month. And the next time we're going to be on the air will be October 17th, when we will be discussing the twice exceptionality of autism and giftedness. So be sure to join us. So we have a lot to discuss on that exceptionality. So please be sure to tune in, okay? And as always, I love to ask you for another favor. So please be sure to go to the link that we are putting there in the comment section for you to give us a grade and let us know how we're doing. If this kind of information and this kind of programming is important to you, this is the way we can justify the time that it takes us to produce this type of programming and to be on the air for you. So even if you've done it before, we need one of these before. It helps us keep a balanced view of how we are doing. So please, thank you. It's only 6 little short questions. You give us a rating and that's it. So thank you for those of you who take the time every week to do this for us. And we really appreciate you. And okay, so that brings us to the end of the program, but didn't want to leave without reminding you to give us a like, to share this video on your page and with those that you know could benefit from this type of information, and to make sure to meet us here on the third Friday of every month. Next month will be October 17th at 10:45 a.m.-ish. And so we can share a cup of coffee with you as we spill the beans on important topics related to autism. Until then, we want to wish you good vibes and hot coffee. We'll see
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye-bye. Have a great weekend. Bye.